What's happening, everyone? Michael Levis here. I asked my future scheduled guests to adapt their advice and responses to current times. This is a COVID-19 special edition where I will ask entrepreneurs how this current epidemic is affecting their business and life and what their advice is for you. I get it, Life Nation. I'm not just a podcast host. I'm an entrepreneur, just like you. My companies are having to pivot and innovate just to stay afloat, and I'm hearing it from guests and colleagues alike. Stay motivated, refocus, and trust me that those companies and individuals who truly strategize to get through this will flourish when it inevitably comes to an end.
You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Michael Levis.
Let's get shaken today, guys. I'm going to be chatting with Sam Lillie, co-founder and CEO of Vendor, an app-based farmers market connecting local small producers direct to local consumers. All right, Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on, man. So tell our listeners something interesting about yourself and also where you're calling in from today.
Yeah, I'm calling in from Austin, Texas. Something interesting about myself. Let's see. I have solo hiked across the country from Mexico to Canada.
What?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
5 months, 152 days, 2,658.8 miles.
What? So tell me what solo hiking is.
So imagine like backpacking, like camping, right?
Uh-huh.
But you're alone. And for an extended period of time.
Wow. Well, that is impressive and probably the coolest story that we've had on the show in a while. So I appreciate that feedback on it. So tell us a little bit about something about Vendor, of course, what you guys do, what it brings to your clients, to your consumers.
Yeah, we're a farmers market delivery service. You know, we connect local food artisans that are selling direct to consumer. We're essentially a payment and last mile logistics platform.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So given our current situation here, I appreciate you jumping on and talking a little bit about how the COVID-19 epidemic is kind of just affecting entrepreneurs, yourself as a business owner. Can you share with us a little bit of how it's affected your company currently?
Yeah, we've been one of the fortunate few that have seen a lot of growth since COVID. You see it with, everyone's in self-quarantine. Grocery stores are running out of product. There's no bread on the shelves. There's no flour. There's almost no produce, right? And so things have been wiped out. And you see this with the food supply chain you see in the United States was just definitely based off something massive, large scale. And you see that being disrupted as giant distributors like Cisco are now going into this massive, like, oh shit moment of what's happening, right? Restaurants are kind of shutting down. They're not ordering as much, right? So there's far less B2B transactions. You see this massive disruption as far as even getting food to the grocery store from large distributors. And so everything has shifted far more locally, where you're able to find and source locally produced vegetables, fruit, home-baked bread, jams, backyard eggs, all of that. And you're seeing this giant spike, especially when it comes to food delivery.
So tell us a little bit about how have you been able to, obviously it's reverse affecting what you're getting mostly that we're hearing on the podcast and or others out there that I'm helping as well, or we're writing or talking about in terms of the negative effects, right? You have a positive effect, which is great, by the way, and at least someone is at least able to benefit did you have to remodel? How do you scale this with your current operational processes? Did you have to make any changes?
So not a lot of changes when it came to actual business model. Have we been benefiting from it? A little bit, but I'd say that most of the people we've worked, it's really just come from or stemmed from the need to help our local producers, right? This whole pandemic hit, and a lot of your local farmers, their main revenue stream comes from restaurant, B2B sales. And with restaurants shutting down and having forced closures, that severs that revenue stream. So it was more, and I know these farmers, a lot of them are my friends. I've worked their fields, right? I've built greenhouses with them. I have harvested, I've weeded, I've planted, and seeing them and the kind of stress that they've absorbed from this, it was more of like, how can we continue to help them get their product out? How can we help them pivot, right? We're a platform for our sellers, for our farmers, for our ranchers. We consider them our neighbors. We're just here to help. And so what is it that we can do to help them and get more of their products in the hands of their fellow neighbors?
What's happening, Life Nation? Michael Levis here. This is a time to do the right thing, not the profitable thing. I'm giving away COVID-19 business strategy sessions for free. I promise to give you my honest advice and coach you on a strategy that I feel would be best for the longevity of your business. I'm not asking you for your money, but in the interest of being able to help as many people as I can, I am asking you to be ready with your 1 to 2 specific questions so we can jump right into it. Go to michaellevis.com/coaching and simply schedule a call on my calendar. That's MIKEOLIVAS.com/coaching. Got it. So yeah, it sounds like for your company, it's been more of a pivot and or an assistance model, right? Like, hey, listen, we're all going to be having continued open doors and wider doors, if you will, from a product standpoint, and deliverability is going to be possibly an issue. How do we kind of start scaling where, for example, we're getting, I mean, what are the orders? Are we talking about 2 times, 5 times? What is the difference of actual orders from a bulk perspective and number standpoint?
Yeah, we did 6 months of sales in 6 days.
Wow. 6 months of sales in 6 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
so that was kind of nuts.
Yeah. The number alone, I mean, to say the least, is insane. Well, I mean, I'm stoked. Like, I'm stoked to hear positive things happening and seeing that. Obviously, that's going to curve, but of course, sadly for, not to say that it's not great for you, but also at some point we want it to, of course. But at the same time, it's great to see the benefit aspect of it. But 6 times, I mean, did you guys have any kind of issue fulfilling all that? And then, of course, at some point, are the farmers' side of things unable to supply the demand?
No, they've got more than enough supply. That's
awesome.
The thing, because most of their supply was going to restaurants. But with restaurants shutting down, they had
there you go.
amount of supply, right?
Huge.
And so, and what we've done is just we've been able to handle all the deliveries and the growth. That was no problem for us.
Right.
What's great about it is, like, it's great that we've seen that kind of growth, sure. What's more important to me is the fact that the farmers are able to get their product out, right? Because less than 1% of the fruits and veggies consumed in Austin, Texas are produced locally. Over 99% are imported from outside the city. So if these local farms, their revenue streams from businesses stop and they've got all this product, they're on the verge of going under. So The fact that our kind of growth, we helped facilitate, we got a lot of growth, yes, and that's cool. What's more important to me is the fact that these farmers are still going to be around next month.
Right.
It's
the local side for sure.
To create a revenue stream. They're able to stay alive. And these are farmers that have been doing this for generations.
Do you have any advice, Sam, in terms of, like, specifically what these current business owners that are out there going through just hell, hopefully, and back at some point to come back to above water, but they're just going through, a shitstorm of just issues, cash flow, letting people go. Any thoughts that you'd be able to give from your entrepreneur journey?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I mean, the easiest one for me to say initially, which is just like adapt, right?
Sure.
But that's very unempathetic. But it's also, you got to take a hard look at it. It's not going to come back the way it was. That time is over. What is it now? What can you do? Adapt and overcome and accept change. I look at it a lot like, let's take Ford Motor Company, right? During World War II, and how they transitioned into airplane making. I mean, they just did what they had to do, right?
Right.
They didn't have a need for cars. You find it, you change, you make that adaptation, and you adjust to markets.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to have to just dig deep and truly believe that there's with great obstacles come great opportunities, right? And it's sometimes hard. like you said, it's unempathetic. We want to make sure that we are understanding of the entrepreneurs out there. And in the toughest, hardest way to say it, I think sometimes is like those that get through this deserve to get through this and deserve all those damn awards and rewards that will come with it in the long term. It's because you changed around your lifestyle. You changed around, you cut the cost, you cut the non-essential employees. Sounds like a harsh thing to do, but that's business. That doesn't change no matter what's going on in COVID-19 or not, right? It's business.
Yeah.
And so we have to make hard decisions. People are doing that. I've done it on 80% of my staff, gone. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we have had to pivot, just like companies that we're talking about now. Those that aren't as fortunate, obviously, to be benefiting from it. But it's also understanding that, you're seeing it from a different angle, which I think is awesome, Sam. Like you're able to be there and assist on a higher level because what you're doing is necessary, right? We're a distribution factor of food. The people that are sitting at home that can't go out and get it.
Yep.
Definitely a necessity. So thank you for doing that and obviously helping out the local farmers there. What kind of advice would you give out of all your successes and failures in your business and in life, of course, as one piece of parting advice to the business and life listeners out there and entrepreneurs and, of course, aspiring business owners?
Oh, man. Accept extreme ownership. Accept extreme ownership. Anything you do, if you're the business owner, everything comes back to you and your decisions, your choices, and your ability to adapt. It's not the market, right? It can be, but that's a like a flag, right? They're going to
kind of a non-controllable, right? Yeah.
It's non-controllable.
Yeah.
Everything you do is up to you. You can adapt to fit this market. That's your choice. You're going to have to look at it and see where that opportunity is and if you want to move forward. And persist, I would say. Adapt, persist, and take extreme ownership.
I love that. Adapt, persist, take extreme ownership, make the decision, stick with it. I love that, Sam. Thank you so much for your time today and dropping some of those knowledge bombs with us and to the Business and Life Nation out there.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Life Nation, you've got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.